Hi, I'm Kim Tarr. I have the pleasure of teaching at Champion Elementary in the pre-K classroom. We have varying exceptionalities in my classroom, and their ages range in age from 3 all the way to 5. So we have a big variety of ages in that group. And since we're in the middle of IEP crunch time, all of our officers were taken, and my computer was taken today because it wasn't working very well. So I'm at my home office in my backyard because it's the quietest place to go. So I wanted to give you a little bit of introduction as to what our lesson was about. We did a lesson on the country and the farm, and it was called In the City, in the Country, and we use the Houghton Mifflin, I think is how you pronounce it, pre-K curriculum book, and it's really, really good. They have a lot of universal design learning lessons already in this book, so it was really helpful for me to use it because I've already thought ahead, and a lot of their activities are based on the different learners in our classrooms. So a lot of them are hands-on. They are lots of books, lots of songs, lots of hands-on activities, and they do everything from letter sounds to math. So it's a great curriculum, and I love using it. So one of the first things that I did when I was doing this lesson is first I wanted to get some background knowledge going. So we sang Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and we let the kids pick an animal that they wanted to say the sound for, or even act out if they wanted to, just to get those gross motor skills going, and to get some of the ideas flowing as to what kind of animals you're going to find on the farm. So we did Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and then after that, we read the story that comes with this curriculum, which is a great story. It's called My Farm, and as you could tell, it's got real-life pictures. And what I love about this book is the fact that it was written from the point of view of a little boy that's about the same age as the children that are in my classroom. So it goes through and it talks about him, his farm, and the kinds of animals that you see on the farm. So it's wonderful. It's engaging. It's real-life pictures. It's about a child that's the same age as they are. So they're able to relate a little bit better to him. So we read this story, and we talked about some of the different things that they see in the farm that they may not see at their homes. So we talked about the pets that they have at their house, the pets that he has at his house, and tried to let them relate a little bit more to what he has going on at his house. Worked out really great because I actually live on a mini farm. So when I was talking to my principal about what we were doing with Universal Design for Learning, I mentioned to her that I wanted to bring in an animal or two from my farm to let the kids see exactly what it is that we do on a farm, and realize that, you know, there's actually somebody that they know every day that they see that has a farm and that has animals that are like in the book, that they take care of every day. And she agreed and let me bring my horse Tank to the school, which was really neat. So we got to bring Tank to school. They got to see him. My kids got to actually come up and pet him, and we talked a lot about his care and what special things he needed to do in order to stay healthy. Another thing that I did that the kids were really interested in is I brought my eggs that my chickens lay to the school and let them see them, because they're not just white. As a matter of fact, none of my chickens lay white eggs. My chickens lay brown eggs, and they lay green eggs. So we talked about the eggs and the fact that different chickens lay different colors of eggs, and then I broke them and told them that on the insides they were still the same. They had a yolk, they had a white, and that we could still eat them like scrambled eggs and bake with them. And that led another great discussion, teachable moments, that just because we are all look different on the outside, we're all the same on the inside. So it also gave us another little tidbit of things to talk about. So it was really neat to see them engaged and really loving learning about the different animals. While I had their attention, I also did a Sounds on the Farm. So this is a lottery bingo game. but we used it more as just a teaching tool so that they would get used to hearing the sounds of animals and then either pointing or telling us what they thought that they were. I have a few that are nonverbal, so they ended up pointing to the animal that they thought it was instead of actually telling me what the animal was. So it gave them a multitude of things to do to learn the same skills. And I was able to do it in a large group setting with everybody. So I was providing all of this different types of learning for each child that learned in a different way, all in one lesson. So it was really, really neat to see how they were able to gain the knowledge that they needed in their own special way. Another thing that I really like about this curriculum is it comes with oral language cards. This one has a country scene, it has a city scene. So we talked about what was the same and what was different in these pictures. And on the back it actually gives you different things that you want to ask the children. It gives you questions, it gives you vocabulary, things that you might want to help them. English language learners, it helps them figure out easy, simple things. Is this a bus or is this a car? It was really wonderful because it gave my nonverbal children a chance to see, and they pointed and they labeled it pictures too. So, all of these different learners are able to become engaged, and that's what I really wanted. It's really hard to get my children engaged in learning new materials. So that was my goal, was to make sure that they were engaged enough that they were able to gather the information that they needed to do a skill. So Universal Design for Learning has really changed the way that I teach, because just because I live on a farm and was able to bring that stuff in doesn't mean that it ends there. We are doing spring now, so we were able to think about ahead. This child likes movement, this child likes reading, this child likes art, this child likes drama, but this child likes to get his hands in it. So we were able to take that lesson and incorporate all of those things into one lesson and teach it all at the same time, so that each child got to really experiment with other ways of learning, so that they weren't just trapped into one way of learning. And how perfect for a 4-year-old to learn that he can learn a skill the way that he enjoys it, but his friend likes to do it this other way, and hey, that's pretty cool too. And they can learn from that as well. So I really like the fact that this kind of program makes me as a teacher better, because I'm able to reach every single learner in my classroom at the same time and not have to struggle and try to find ways to reach them. It's right there. They're telling me what their interests are. They're telling me what they like to do. And it's wonderful. It's a really, really great tool. And I've seen a big difference in my children, and I've seen them wanting to come to circle time, and they can't wait to see what Miss Kim has brought in. I brought in sunflower seeds last week, and we planted them. And when we came back from the weekend, they had sprouted. So then we got to talk about, well, where did the seed go? Well, some of them still had the seeds attached to the top of it, even though it had come up through the soil. And we talked about what's going to happen to that seed. It's going to fall off, and it's going to create leaves, and then it will create a flower. But now they get to see it. They get to see it in action, and they're witnessing, a real-life change, and it makes sense to them. It's a real-world experience for them. So it's been really, really fun to see them want to know more, and to see them engaged, and to see them really, really learning about the world around them and being excited about it. It's not just your sit-down paper pencil lessons anymore. It's hands-on. It's real life. It's something that they can apply. It's something that they think is fun. And they look forward to it. They look forward to more, and they want to know more, and they're asking more questions. And even in the stories, they're asking those what, where, when, how questions before I even get to them. And they're thinking ahead. Well, what's going to happen next? Well, what's the story going to be tomorrow? Because they know that they always interrelate. They always build on each other. So even at the 3 and the 4 and the 5-year-old level, I'm seeing a huge impact on them as well as on me as a teacher.